This is The Blockchain Show. The Blockchain Show is a podcast that demystifies and promotes widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technology. This is episode number 47, where we talk to the guys at Pally. Ledger Wallet is a smart card-based Bitcoin hardware wallet bringing maximum protection level to your Bitcoins without sacrificing usability or control. Find the link in this episode's show notes.
All right. We love all things blockchain.
Indeed.
And we also love travel. So that's why we're excited for this episode and what Pally has in store for us. It's the world's first travel experience platform that's powered by smart contract technology. The ecosystem they've built is comprised of Pally Social, an iOS beta app you can get now in the App Store, and Pally Adventure, a community marketplace where travelers can access city experiences hosted by locals. And that's set to come out after their ICO, which is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, there's so many things that I didn't get to talk to them about. I really want to, but I gotta tell you something.
What happened?
I heard some news today, man. China has outlawed ICOs.
That's crazy.
It was actually told to me this way. No, China outlawed blockchain.
China outlawed the blockchain?
Yes.
Well, they kind of did a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It sounded kind of so dramatic when I first heard it. I thought, no.
They outlawed the blockchain. They outlawed anything good happening with the blockchain. Like good new thing, because ICOs, Sarah, you know what an ICO is, right?
Well, I do now, thanks to the Blockchain Show. Otherwise, I would never know this stuff. But seriously, China has officially outlawed ICOs. In a joint statement issued by 7 financial regulators today, the world's most populous nation outlined why it believes that nascent fundraising mechanism is illegal under domestic laws. Authorities backing the statement include the People's Bank of China, the Central Network Office, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the State Administration for Industry and Commerce, and the China Banking Regulatory Commission. A translation of the statement reads, quote, ICO financing refers to the activity of an entity raising virtual currencies such as Bitcoin or Ethereum through illegally selling and distributing tokens. In essence, it's a kind of non-approved illegal open fundraising behavior suspected of illegal sale tokens, illegal securities issuance, and illegal fundraising, financial fraud, pyramid schemes, and other criminal activities. The second article further clarifies what this determination means, stating that as of the date of this announcement, all types of currency issuance, financing activities shall cease immediately.
So what do you wonder?
I wonder what happens to you. What if you have a... How do they get...
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, what happens to you?
You get shut down. Like, we'll shut this shit down. No more ICOs.
It kind of seemed like China was digging it.
Well, it was probably booming, and it was probably pissing off the establishment.
It seems like a lot of people who might not like that.
It sounded like the banks and the regulatory agencies all teamed up to make some, what we would call legislation. What do they do in a communist country?
It's like a bunch of ninnies who just get together and want to control stuff. That's the first step into disease right there. And what it says here, the Central Bank of China issues a public statement which says that the ban takes effect immediately and considers ICOs to have, quote, seriously disrupted the economic and financial order.
Fuck with the money.
On the flip side, ICO is a frictionless and quick method of raising funds for project developers.
They're trying to halt any new progress. Coming up is an interview with Sarah and Pally.
So we are the two co-founders of Pally, which is a decentralized social travel platform. And we've been existing since March last year in 2016, where we first got the idea, sort of put the team together, and spent a few months developing the concept and idea before kicking off technical development on the platform. So we then released our private alpha in November last year, which was an iOS application, which we then released into the Apple App Store in April in a beta. So that's been going there for a few months, and that's the part of our concept we call Pally Social, which is essentially a social platform where visitors can connect with locals in a given city and sort of pick up on the local tips, on the local insights to be able to have a more authentic travel experience.
I love that. I am your audience. I'm just telling you right now. This is brilliant.
Oh, great to hear. But yeah, so we've been live with that with a few months, and then on the other hand, we have Pally Adventures, which is an experience marketplace aimed mainly at 18 to 30-year-olds who are either students on a sabbatical, gap year, or sort of just fresh out of college, but still working their way towards the millions, and therefore on a travel budget. So that is essentially a community place where people can put up experiences. So local would provide experiences. For now, curated by us, but in the future, when we roll out the decentralized version of Pally, it'll be introduced. New hosts will be introduced to the system by minors who essentially work as recruiters to introduce new people into the system who have some sort of interesting passion that they would like to monetize on, and in turn, turning the Pally Adventures platform into the place where they can connect to interested parties that are visiting and would like to, say go for an early Saturday morning run with one of our early hosts who's a keen marathoner, and in exchange, he'll then be remunerated in Pally coins, which is the platform token.
You're in London, right?
Indeed, we're both in London. Yeah.
Is it sunny out there today?
Absolutely not.
Well, it's sunny here in sunny Southern California. So we're in other parts of the world. There's a lot of British people here, and I often want to go to London, but I am not a person. There are lots of people out there, and there's a structure that's already well established for those people. They plan out every aspect of their trip and their life often. And so when they go somewhere, they know exactly where they'll be staying and what they'll be doing. They'll have travel buses, and they'll be going with, and these very, things you could see on the TV where you go to this very big church and you listen to a tour guide, and that's one way to do it. Valid and wonderful. It's not my way. I do anything to escape that, really. And this sounds like that's why it's perfect for me. I would always try to find the secrets of wherever I was, like the things that the real people do, which sounds like this is exactly what it's made for me. And so if you were to come here, I have some suggestions about what I would take you to. But what if I were in London? So how would it work? What I would find, is there some way to narrow down my selection of the kinds of things I would want to do?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of our development has taken into account that people have different preferences and sort of different ways that they'd like to travel. So as you said, you're probably in the bracket of the sort of 52% of travelers who find, the sort of big tourist hotspots to be more stressful than, going to the dentist or doing taxes. So
Yes. It's funny too, because if you see pictures of me where I'm standing in wherever I'm supposed to be, I don't look like I'm having too much fun too. It's funny.
Exactly, and I would agree. Similarly, I've been to a few places this year, and I've really tried to connect with local people. I actually used Pally when I was in New York this summer, and was able to get to some places in Brooklyn that I would never have discovered on my own. And going into preferences, we have really nice looking icons designed in our app, where you can narrow down you can select your own interests. So that could be things like street food, museums, aspects of culture, watching live sport, for example. And with those, you're able to find other locals when you're going away who have similar interests. So the algorithms work such that when you enter a city that you're visiting into the app, it brings up people who have similar interests to you in that order. And then from there, you can message them pretty simply with, hey, I'm coming to San Francisco next week, and I'm really interested in, tech and sort of hiking, which sounds like someone I know. And based on those mutual interests you can exactly connect with people, and they can show you around those things. And similarly in the adventures, with our adventures product, which we are rolling out in beta now as well, it's a similar system of you can filter down with your interests to the different categories, and the adventures will have tags, and then you can filter those out, and you can essentially are able to see those listed in the cities you select. So that's the sort of interest selection part.
Yeah, and just to quickly build on that, because Effie, you mentioned from New York, and I myself, I was in Southeast Asia earlier this year, and actually managed to go in the app and in the social part of the app and find people to hang out with in both Tokyo and Seoul. So that was really cool to just sort of see the real life use of it in a foreign city, and actually see it working as we hoped and intended. So
pretending like we had nothing to do with it as well.
I bet you can. Nice. Yeah, you can actually make real friends too in the real world. Like, are you still friends with those people that you hung out with in Asia?
Yeah, still in touch. One of them was actually, I blew my cover halfway through meeting the person, and said that I actually, was directly involved in Pally. But still in touch, and she actually helped us. Translate our website into Korean.
Oh, very cool. That's neat. Yes, I would even, because, for example, everywhere I go, I do like to find the secrets. Even I was a very lucky person. I got to live in Venice, Italy, not the one out here. But
beautiful.
Yes, it is beautiful, and it's stunning and amazing, and many tourists go there all the time. But there are so many fabulous little secrets. And that's where I would see, there's restaurants where there's almost no tourists whatsoever. We're going to ruin it all right now. The whole town is going to hate us, possibly. But yeah, adventures, that's fabulous. I see that when I look you up on the internet, it says that you're outside of the mainstream tourist activities.
Absolutely.
I enjoy having adventures and meeting new friends with similar interests. At the risk of overexposing one of my favorite little places near here, if somebody were to come out here and want to have adventures, I would probably take him to like a swimming hole in Malibu, not far from where we are. You can jump off of cliffs into water. It's so super fun. So if I were to participate in this, and I get some new friends from somewhere else on the planet, and we have a great time, what is it other than a great experience and life that I get out of this deal? Do I earn something by doing that as well?
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's where the decentralized Pally is really sort of amazing, in that it allows us all, as people who are adventurous and do like to meet new people in different places, but also we have a platform that then aligns those incentives to us being able to be remunerated in Pally coins, and really that's actually a major use case for the blockchain and Pally coins within our products, where instead of maybe just going to offer someone a beer, I can within the Pally community give them something unique, which is Pally coins, and that also would serve to drive some of the engagement on the social app as well. So if I'm not necessarily taking someone to a nice swimming hole in California, but I'm just giving them sort of written tips on, this is the really cool place to get ramen burgers in my home city, I can also, for the number of messages I send, and for and to different people. And for the number of times I meet up, I could also be rewarded in Pally coins. So that's a big part of our platform tokens.
Yeah, and just to dig a little deeper into the sort of mechanics behind it is that, we've identified, various sets of logic that we hope will incline users to use it, to further engagement on the app and on the marketplace. And a few of those things, just to anecdotally pick out a few, would be like Afiola mentioned, so I'm a local. Effie is a visitor. We're talking, asking for good tips, and once the taker in our conversation reads 20-cent messages, we'll expect that some sort of knowledge capital transaction has been taken place, and that that the host has added some value to the visitor, and therefore it'll unlock some some Pally coins being deposited into that person's wallet. So it's kind of in that sense, it's kind of following the reward strategies, such as products like even Steemit or Kin, which is the new upcoming ICO by Kik as well. And so we're really trying to sort of facilitate and trying to encourage and nudge people for bidirectional sort of exchange of knowledge and ideas, and of course, whilst of course acknowledging that they're not going to be equally motivated to help each other out if there's no added incentive for the local part.
So what can I spend my Pally coins on?
Well, great question. So within the platform, it'll be the sole means of payment, and you'll be able to convert and transact those to directly to other adventures. So say you've been back home in LA where you live, and you've engaged in conversation, and you've somehow racked up some Pally coins ahead of your trip to say Barcelona, right? Where you then find an adventure on the marketplace which you then think is really exciting, and you can then convert the stuff that you earned transacting with people, and in turn get yourself a cool experience when you're in Barcelona.
Oh, so cool. But you say on here, I noticed that you said that it does not mention dispute resolution just yet. That's fascinating. I can imagine so many different ways. Has anything come up in any other technologies yet as far as this dispute?
Yeah, no. So it's definitely one that's in the forefront of our minds, and we're looking to because there's very on that front there's very little best practice and inspiration to be picked up from other decentralized companies at this point, just because really decentralized travel startups and decentralized social travel startups in essence is very early doors. So we picked up some inspiration from the centralized counterparts such as Airbnb, where we're studying their dispute resolution closely, and sort of trying to work out how that'll work in a Pally world. So essentially, there won't, just like in Airbnb, there won't be any sort of payment happening. No, so nothing will be deposited into say the host's wallet until that host has successfully taken participants through his or her experience. And obviously, if they're in the meantime, if that host for some reason doesn't follow through and actually conduct or actually host the experience, then it'll go into some sort of pool where there'll have to be a resolution found by us.
No, I was just going to build on that actually, and mention that's a good point, and just there will also be ways in which people who, if we've seen that through the course of conversations, people are seen to be, abusing the platform by maybe trying to have inappropriate conversations with certain other members of the community, then they wouldn't be able to get, if they're reported, they wouldn't be able to get, perhaps the Pally coins that they would be due after having sent 20 messages, for example. So that's another way in which, the community.
And also, of course, I mean, we want the community to be able to help out here, because that's the whole idea of a community that essentially, we want to be self-sufficient and sort of a standalone community where, in a world where a host who's claiming to be doing experiences doesn't do them well or doesn't do them at all. There'll be rating mechanisms. There'll be in the same way that we want badly performing hosts to be called out, we also want to reward the hosts who are doing really awesome stuff and just taking people around and really adding value by every 6 months to sort of have the community nominate the highest performing hosts, and those hosts will in turn they'll earn extra Pally coins, which will be dispersed by the sort of by the pool of Pally coins that we have disposable for those sorts of things, community engagement things.
Absolutely.
You're basically entering into a smart contract with someone. Is that correct?
Indeed, absolutely.
So you have a contract where you're basically both saying, okay, I'll provide this and I'll do this. And as with anything in life, it can fall through. I mean, you can have insurance and you can have 1,000 contracts, but there can always be somebody who just doesn't follow through. But this contract sort of ensures that, because if you don't really follow through with your contract, it seems like it's going to be obviously labeled that you're not following through with your end of things. Smart contracts seem like lovely little packages of as much security as you're ever going to get in life.
Yeah, no, I mean, completely agree on that. And it's going to be, a sequence of smart contracts, essentially executing if conditions are met and not executing if they aren't. At which point, the assumption would be that some sort of disagreement or dispute has happened.
When you're in this dispute thing that's emerging from your thing, I can imagine, I don't know Airbnb, but I imagine as you're sort of refining yourself, people love to take quizzes anyway, that there'd be something like boundary buttons or whatever. I'm sure that there are people who really, like, their golden rule might be a little different looking than my golden rule, but that can be said beforehand in an easy little button, like, for example, a non-smoking house, or whatever it is where you draw the line, like absolutely no pets in this world, or there's a lot of these sort of minor things that seem like they'd be pretty easy to weed out in a smart contract.
Yeah, as you said, I think that's right, and I think being able to have as much information as possible listed on the host pages, for example, would enable the community to have clear expectations on what they're signing up for, and as you said, I think there's no way in which it's sort of fully possible to completely mitigate against people sort of disagreeing or having some form of disputes. But one of the things we are looking to extract from our focus groups is really to flesh out how to make sure expectations are managed and met really on all sides of the community.
Yeah, especially given that we're, it's an international community that now already spans across several continents. And like you said, just because a golden rule is so for you doesn't mean that it necessarily is so for another person, and especially not, across cultures, across continents. And so we're currently conducting a bunch of focus groups to just around dispute resolution and trying to work out, exactly where is the sweet spot and what is the happy medium that, accommodates people's fears and tries to prove that sense of assurance, and B it hits the sort of hits the sweet spot in between being culturally sensitive and meaning the same thing, so universally.
You must have a wealth of fascinating information, just getting all sorts of cultures to cooperate. I'd like to see those studies.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to take you through some of the insights. We've been really adamant to sort of do it in small start and stop cycles ever since we started developing last year. To not use too much buzzwordy lingo, but in a sort of agile manner where every time we've reached a conclusion, either through team discussion or through a certain stage that we're in from a technical perspective, we'll stop and we'll take a step back and validate with people who are who are objective to the concept and who are hopefully going to be end users, and then take their feedback and refine accordingly, so that we don't make any leaps of sort of faith that just are position a reflection of what we think the concept should be, but at all times to try and include the voice of the community.
So which blockchain does it use?
Yeah, currently on the Ethereum blockchain, and essentially we're able to accommodate ERC. Yeah, exactly. ERC 20 specific tokens. Oliver would probably want to build on this as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're an Ethereum-based blockchain, and what we're doing is essentially just adding logic on top of the ERC 20 specs, which will sort of allow us to tailor smart contracts the way we want to do it.
So now let's say we use it and I go there and I really want to know what you guys have to tell me about the most interesting things to do in the London area, wherever you are. What are we going to do today?
I think first thing I have in mind is 5 p.m. It's not terribly sunny, so I wouldn't recommend sort of going up into the outdoors. But there is a place I've been particularly keen on recently called Dinorama, which is in Shoreditch, which for people familiar with London will see it as the sort of Williamsburg, Brooklyn of London. And there's lots of really nice sort of outdoor pop-up dining available there. So a very good sort of after work Wednesday evening place to start off. And then because it's Wednesday, I think some live music, maybe if I don't know if you're into the open mic scene, but there's also some really good stuff that happens on Wednesday nights also in Shoreditch. So at this specific time, we want to keep it indoors because it's not pretty outside.
What about Johnny Flynn? What if I'm specifically looking to see Johnny Flynn in London?
Johnny Flynn?
Oh, Johnny Flynn, one of the best musicians who ever could be, is walking around. Could be like a block from you right now. Oh.
I think Johnny... Oh, he's South African and English, I see.
He was born in South Africa, that's right.
I see. It's something he has in common with Elon Musk, which makes us like him automatically. Good question. I think there are quite a few. Of the live music spots in Soho, which some around Kingly Street, which a few of the I wouldn't say up and coming because this guy seems to be pretty big time, but a few of the sort of big, Ed Sheeran 5 years ago would have played in some of those spots, and also going further south into areas like Haggerston as well, and also in sort of southeast. There's a really good live music scene popping up there where we've been invited to a few things that we've seen some cool acts. So there are a few people for you to watch out for.
I think the crown jewel in the live music scene, from my perspective anyways, goes to Troy Bar in Shoreditch, which is also very much under the scenes and sort of accommodates up and comings, but also just really really passionate, cool young singers who are trying to make it for themselves. So definitely.
That's good to know. So would Pally help me find my pals who are Johnny Flynn fans that I would want to go hang out with in London?
I think one of our categories is in the app is live music and gigs, and I think narrowing that down. Maybe
someday in the future of Pally, right? There'll be a button for Johnny Flynn.
Exactly, for Johnny Flynn, and at that point he will. At that point,
we'll put it on the roadmap.
Yeah, and he could be an experience host perhaps. Because I like the sound of this guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's definitely one of us, I think. Awesome. Well, where else can people learn more?
There are a few channels. So we have a few pages where you can find us. One, of course, is on Facebook. So reach out to us there. On Facebook, we are just called Pally. And also Instagram is probably our longest running page. We are Pally_app. So do follow us on Instagram. There's lots of good stuff there. For those of us who are deep in the blockchain community, you can also find us on Bitcoin Talk, where we are sort of engaging and responding to our community there, as well as Reddit. And of course, www.pally.co is our website. And please go there for information and then links to all the pages.
Just add on to that is that we have been in the last few weeks, as we went through our pre-sale last Friday, and scaling up, ramping up to the pre-sale, and especially here the last week, we've been getting quite a few requests for when we're going to open up a public Slack or Telegram channel. So what our number one priority this week has been to onboard an additional community manager to help us sort of accommodate the increasing demand and correspondence that comes with that. So hopefully, we're in the middle of just onboarding a person now whom we found to be a really good fit on the team. And so we should have a Telegram channel up in the very near future for where we'll be available to chat with people anytime.
Wonderful. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, we're just very excited. I mean, for next month and to sort of get through the ICO phase, but also B for November and December, where we hope to make some quantum leaps in terms of the decentralized technology and implementation into the platform.
Yeah, and in the run up to that, we're also looking forward to a couple of conference appearances that we have on. One will be in Dublin, at a blockchain conference in Dublin, and then the other still in the works, but might be somewhere in the Far East in Asia. So we're looking forward to doing those as well. So as Oliver said, look forward to speaking soon sometime.
It's been great talking with you guys. I know I'm going to be a member of the Pally community right away. Thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you for your time, guys. Thanks for having us.
All right, see you later. Bye.
Usually exciting. Take care, guys.
Are you looking for an easy way to buy Bitcoin or Ether on a safe, secure platform? Coinbase is the easiest place to buy and sell digital currencies. Sign up today as a friend of the Blockchain Show, and if you buy or sell $100 of Bitcoin or more, you'll earn $10 of free Bitcoin for yourself and $10 of Bitcoin to support this show. Join now using the link in this episode's show notes at theblockchainshow.com. To learn more, visit theblockchainshow.com.